Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, True Crime with Jess Rose. Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry I've been gone for so long. I've just been, it's just all pants at the minute, isn't it? It's just all pants. Everything's costing a fortune. Fuel's gone up. Let me know what's going on where you are, because I'm in England and it's just, I don't know. Look, shopping that I got a month ago is now nearly double the price. Fuel's gone through the roof. It's all just gone crazy. But I'm going to make you realise that it's not that bad, because I'm about to do the story of Luka Rocco Magnotta, I think it's pronounced. I don't care what he's called, I'll be honest. Now, the reason for how dismissive I am over this thing's name is because probably, let me just fix that, probably about 2 months ago now, I was going down the rabbit hole of just YouTube, but kind of different sites, and you know what it's like, you go down a rabbit hole and if you keep going you're going to find things. So I found myself on Best Gore. If you know Best Gore, you know why my reaction's like that. But I'd been told, not told, but I'd read, sorry, no one actually told me to look at it. But I'd heard about a video called One Lunatic, One Ice Pick. Now, I had a feeling, I really did, of what I was about to say. I couldn't prepare myself. And even though it had been written on there, don't look, don't watch, don't do it to yourself. You know, when someone tells you not to look, you do. So, of course, I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to put the disclaimer out there. Please don't try and find it. Please don't. I'll describe why. But once you've seen it, you can't come back. Now, when I heard of the title and seen the title, One Lunatic, One Ice Pick, it did remind me of another title that I'd watched called Three Men and a Screwdriver, I think it was. Another video I'll never be able to get out of my head. So I did kind of know what I was about to get into, but I didn't. I genuinely didn't. So when I'm watching this video, One Lunatic, One Ice Pick, it was so graphic, so surreal. In the background of this particular video, there's a song played by New Order. I think it's called True Faith. Goes back to the 80s, I think. It's a very dimly lit room of what you're watching, and although my blood run cold, I honestly thought, I genuinely did, thought that what I was watching was fake. I thought, there's no way what I'm watching is real. No way in a million years. And that's how I consoled myself, and I put the internet away for the day, and I said no more for me, and I come away, and look, so I consoled myself thinking it's photoshopped and it's fake and etc. And I forgot about it. I genuinely did, because I'd convinced myself that it wasn't real. I come away and I thought no more of it until I've gotten rid of Sky, which I hadn't. I've had Sky since I was, I don't know, 20 or something. But it was just, again, going back to the prices of things, it was so expensive and everything, so I got rid of it. So I started watching Netflix. I started watching Peaky Blinders. I know I'm years behind. Anyway, I seen a program on there called Don't, F-U-C-K, I think it's asterisk state, with cats. And I'd seen it on there a couple of times, like advertised, and I just didn't appeal to me, didn't get what it'd be about, so I kept on bypassing it. Anyway, about 10 days ago, I thought, you know what, I'm going to watch it. And as I'm watching it, a face came up on the screen. I thought, I've seen that face before. Then a name came up on the screen and was mentioned, and I thought, I know that name. Again, couldn't piece it together. And basically, the show, which came out in 2019 on Netflix, and like I say, it's called Don't. It's F-U-C-K, but it's kind of F and then 3 asterisks with cats. That's what it's called. And basically, it's an internet group that came across a video. We go all the way back to, I believe, 2010. And a video came up called One Boy, Two Kittens. And it had come up on YouTube. And within, I think it was less than 24 hours of this video being uploaded, there was absolute outrage. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know how much of the... Now, if you do want to watch the programme, like I say, it goes back to 2019, but if you do want to watch it, I can watch some horrific things. I can. I think doing this channel, having an interest in true crime, I think you have to have a bit of a thicker skin. And I have watched some horrific things over the years. But where I draw my line, and this might sound so odd, anything with animals, anything with children, and anything with the elderly, they're the things I can't watch. Although I've done stories with children, if there is any footage, and I think there's one of the stories I did, which was Tegan Skyber, there was a recording of her. I didn't know I was about to hear it, and it devastated me. You couldn't say anything, thank God, but you could hear. And it still devastated me. So anything along those lines, I can't watch, I can't listen to, I just can't. So when I started watching this programme, and I realised what it entailed, I wanted to watch it, but I didn't want to watch the clips they were showing. Now, these clips, I believe, are still on YouTube. And like I say, the first one was One Boy, Two Kittens, and this was in 2010. And it's got, it's in a dimly lit kind of room with a bed. And on the bed, there's like a throw. I don't know if it's a quilt cover or a throw, but it's of a wolf. And there's 2 kittens on there. And there's obviously a young man, it's a male, but his face is constantly covered within the video. And he's playing with them. Now, I knew it was going to go wrong, so I basically forwarded that bit. And any time any clips of the video came up on the show that I'm talking about on Netflix, I had to... I can't see it, so I can't describe what happened in it because I didn't watch it. I couldn't. But I do know that he puts the kittens into a vacuum bag, like a plastic bag, and vacuums the air out of it and suffocates them. And I believe the video is still out there. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't. And when you find out what I have watched later on in this story, you'll be like, but it's just, there's just some, I think children, animals, the elderly, they're the most vulnerable in our society, as well as stories that I've done of the vulnerable in our society with learning difficulties, etc. Just anything where there's not just a human, an animal, anything that can't defend, that doesn't stand a chance of defending itself in a situation, that has no chance whatsoever. I can't watch that. I can't entertain it. I just can't. So that video gets uploaded in 2010, and there's just outrage straight away. Internet groups start coming up left, right and centre, like trying to find who this person was that had done this to these two kittens, because apparently you did see the kittens die on camera. And there was a particular group that got together who are on this show, who, so intelligent, had got normal jobs in the day, and then on the evenings they would clip by clip by clip. In fact, they got the whole video and broke it down into photos, like very clever, and looked at every single aspect of this video. The Hoover that was in the room at the time, the plug sockets, the light fixtures, the wolf blanket that I was talking about, where you could buy the Hoovers. And what they were trying to do was pinpoint even just what country this had been done in, because don't forget, YouTube, you wouldn't know that the person who did it didn't speak. You know, I think there was a slight side profile of his face, but not enough to do a reverse check. You know, they really tried everything. So after all these searches had gone unfounded and they couldn't, you know, pinpoint him down, I think they thought that maybe he was in Russia, was questioned at first. And there was another group online, not this particular group that are on the programme, but another group who had believed that it was a bloke in Russia, and named and shamed him and everything. And it wasn't him. You know, so it does show how dangerous sometimes these groups can be. Although the one group who's on this show, I mean, they were so on the ball. You know, it'll play out. So everything went quiet. We get to 2011, and two more videos were uploaded, where again, same lad, bloke. It's obviously a male with a Santa hat on this time. Again, I haven't watched the video. I couldn't bring myself to watch it. Feeds a kitten to a python, a live kitten. And then quickly followed by another video where a kitten was tied to a pole and drowned in the bath. Just horrible person. Because apparently before this, like I say, I haven't watched the video, but before he was loving on the kittens, he was cuddling them, you know, and then to do that, it's just where's the thought process? So these internet sleuths who were trying desperately to uncover who this was were so scared, because as we know, if you are interested in true crime and you follow true crime, there's an escalation to things like this, and someone who can hurt the vulnerable, i.e. animals or children, tends to escalate, especially from animals. They might move from animals to small children, but it definitely escalates. There's something in them that needs to destroy, but not anything that can fight back, It has to be on their terms, and so they can do it as how they've planned it out in their head. You know, so these internet sleuths they were working so hard to try and find who this was. And eventually, through hours and hours of painstaking picking apart these videos and, you know, reverse imaging, they came up with a name. And the name they came up with was Luka Rocco Magnotta. And they were absolutely convinced that this was the guy they were looking for. Now, Luka Rocco Magnotta, but we'll say Luka Magnotta. Now, he was born the eldest of 3 children, but his name was actually Eric Newman. He was born. And he was born on the 24th of July 1982 in Scarborough, Toronto, Canada. Now, I don't know, Scarborough might ring a bell to you out there if you've been watching my videos. It was a video that I'd done not long ago, the Ken and Barbie Killers. Same place. Now, Eric's parents were Donald Newman and Anna Yorkin. His siblings, Melissa Newman and Conrad Newman. He was very close to his sister, Melissa. Now, Eric, obviously, he's Luka, but this is before he changed his name. So, Eric's dad was diagnosed with schizophrenia quite young. His mom apparently had severe OCD, was a real germaphobe to the point where she homeschooled all 3 children. She was very strict with them. She was so anal, I suppose you could say, with cleaning and how she kept her children in. She didn't want them mixing with. That's why she didn't want them to go to school, because she didn't want them mixing with other children, because she believed they'd get germs and they'd get ill. It was said that at one point when the kids were little, she left rabbits that they had, pet rabbits, outside in the winter to die. You know, just not great parents, really. From what I'm gathering, I don't know a lot about them. Don't come for me. This is what I've found out. This is what I've researched. And to the point where that the kids were sent to live with their grandmother. And this was when Eric/Luka, he was 12. And at that point, he was sent to secondary school, normal mainstream school. But because he'd been so kind of closeted, is closeted the right word? But, you know, he didn't mix, he didn't have friends out of the house. He wasn't allowed friends when he lived with his mom. He didn't mix very well at school. Someone has described him as quite average, forgettable. He was bullied. You know, quite an odd character. And it was a shame, because who knows if that's how he would have been had his mum and dad, you know, not been, well, the chances are he would have been that way. I will tell you more about that. But where are we now? So we come up to when Eric was 20. His dad was very worried about him. His dad obviously being diagnosed with schizophrenia, knew the signs. So he took Eric to the doctors. And Eric was actually diagnosed at age between 19 and 20 with schizophrenia. And he was put on meds. They've said it could be Ativan or Paxil. I don't know the medication myself, but it was said that this is what he was put on. So when he got to, so that was when he was 20. So now we come up to 2003 when he was about 21. And he was trying to, I suppose, change himself. What's the words I'm looking for? Reinvent himself, I suppose. So at age 21, he started becoming a stripper, an escort, a porn actor, gay porn actor. You know, he started to become very obsessed with himself, his own self-image. Now at 24 in 2006 was when he changed his name from Eric Newman to Luka Rocco Magnotta. I've heard it pronounced a couple of ways, but we'll say Magnotta. So, like I said, 24, it became Luka. And he was doing this reinvention. And it was said that the only other person he considered beautiful, apart from himself, was his sister Melissa. She's the only other person in the world. There's not a lot more said after that. I don't know. Did they remain close? Did they distance themselves after that? Was she still in touch with him when he was going through these changes? You know, but his online persona, you know, you can see videos of him online and his pictures and everything else. He created so many accounts for himself, which is why the online sleuths had so much trouble pinpointing Luka. And of course, because of the name change and everything else. And when they eventually found and could pinpoint that it was Luka Magnotta, they pinpointed him down to Montreal in Canada. So he was no longer in Toronto, he's in Montreal. And when they pinpointed him down, and on Google and YouTube and everywhere else, there was so much about this guy. So much about him. And they're like, could this be the same lad who's done this to these kittens? Because he was just plastered everywhere as this amazing model and you know, famous guy. And there was comments like written to him, you know, we love you, you're amazing, you're gorgeous, like all these accolades coming towards this bloke that they found. And they're like, can this really be him? Is this the same guy? And then they found a post that linked him, as I mentioned earlier, to Karla Homolka, Ken and Barbie killers. And it was saying that he'd had an affair with her. And then they found another post with Luka, you know, practically crying, going, I don't know who started these rumours about me and Karla, but, you know, I'm not having an affair with her. I don't know where this has come from. If you haven't gathered, Luka made all of this. Everything. Every post about himself. The rumour about him and Karla Homolka. Everything was him. It was all him. This bloke was crazy. Yeah, that was in 2007, so a year after he reinvented himself. So when we get to 2009 and Luka had posted the 3 men, 1 screwdriver video, which I said I have unfortunately watched. And it's about 3 teenagers in Russia. I believe they're still in prison. And it's a horrific video of them murdering, I think he was a father of 3 or 4, in like a forest. And it's an awful video. It's something you'll never get that out of your head. Again, it's so graphic, you start to pull yourself away from it thinking, this can't be real. And he was one of the people that posted. I mean, it's posted various other places. That's obviously not where I saw it, but he posted that video. So when we got to 2010, I think he wanted to be infamous. And he tried various ways. Like I say, he'd entered the porn industry. He tried modelling. He tried out for a show, I believe it was called Cover Guy. Yes, in 2007 he tried that out. And there was just something about his aura. You can see his casting video online. And what would you say about Luka? He's not bad looking. He just looks odd. You need to go and look at him. And his casting video. There's just something about him that's so, you can't put your finger on it when you're watching these videos. But obviously it's not just me. I'm presuming you might have the same reaction when you watch his videos. But the Cover Guy execs and the other shows, reality shows that he tried out for, they all must have had the same feeling, because he never got taken on by any of them. And as we know with reality TV, they're not mega fussy about who they tend to have on. So there's no dig there at anyone. I'm not going at anyone who's done reality TV, do you? But I'm just saying it's odd that he was turned down in my book. So they must have, obviously seen something as well, or not seen it, more to the point. So when these internet sleuths, I call them for want of a better word, discovered who it was, they pinpointed him down where he was in Montreal. They sent all this information to the Canadian authorities. They were like, this is what this guy's done. They sent the videos of the 3 videos he's uploaded of the kittens he'd killed. They were like, this guy's going to escalate. He's dangerous. We need help. And it's hard to say, because on one side I've heard that the authorities did take it seriously. They're saying that. On the other side, this internet team was saying, no, they didn't. They didn't take it seriously at all, because if they had what happened might not have happened. And what happened was, we are now up to the 24th of May 2012. Now, there is a young lad, 88, 98, 2008. He's 34, so not a young lad, but he's a university student by the name of Jun Lin. And he's come over from Wuhan in China to study engineering and computer science in Montreal. And he was said, he was trying to make friends, and he'd made some friends, and he had an apartment, but he'd gone online just in search of company, I believe. And he had the unfortunate luck, whatever you might call it, of meeting. I don't know if he's on Craigslist. No, I don't think Craigslist is Canadian. I don't know, but he has the unfortunate luck of contacting or being contacted by Luka. So on the 24th of May 2012, there is footage of Luka and Junlin entering Luka's apartment building in Montreal. And Junlin's got like a yellow t-shirt on. Luka's kind of strutting. He's got a specific walk that he tends to do. And that's the footage you see. Again, all of this is online. Now, if you remember at the beginning of my video, I said that I'd watched a video that was titled One Man, One Screwdriver. Let me just double check. One lunatic, one ice pick. I'm so sorry. There's so many of these awful, disgusting videos out there. And somehow I've come across some of them, and they're so hard to shake from your mouth. So I will say, I will tell you what happens in the video. if I can advise you not to watch it, that's my advice to you. Because once you realise it's real, it takes on a whole different thought process in your head. So like I say, when I'd watched this a couple of months ago, I'd convinced myself it wasn't real, it was photoshopped, it was fake. When I started watching this Don't F With Cats programme, and I realised where they were going with this story, the name of the video came up when they were talking about it, when they said of the escalation, then all of a sudden there was an upload of this video, One Lunatic, One I Speak. I was like, oh my God, the video was real. And my blood run cold. I'm not exaggerating, you know, like I say, I've said it before, I can watch some very graphic things, but when I realised it was real, it devastated me. Absolutely devastated me. Because I'd sat and watched the whole 11-minute video. It was uploaded to Best Score. It had obviously had millions of views straight away when it went up. And these internet guys, it had been sent to them. Because at this point, Luka realised these people were onto him. I think he just wanted notoriety. He wanted to be infamous. Not just famous, infamous. And he will be now. Because that was on the 24th of May when Junlin met up with Luka. On 25th of May 2012, the 11-minute video was uploaded. One Lunatic, One I Speak. On the video, we now know it was Junlin. His hands are tied on a bed. It's a very dimly lit room. There is like a Casablanca poster on the wall. There's that New Order song called True Faith from the 80s. I'm not, some people says it ruined it for them because they really liked the song. I didn't. I always found it gave me like a really odd feeling. It wasn't my genre, and yeah. And then you see someone walking around the room, and Junlin's naked. Like I say, he's blindfolded, he's tied up, and you do see him move at one point at the beginning of the video. You then see this person, never shows his face, with the ice pick. Now, I have heard that it was actually a screwdriver that had been made to look like an ice pick. Apparently, it had come from one of his favourite films, Basic Instinct. And he proceeds to stab Junlin over and over and over again. Now, for doing this video, I did go back to that video, and just clip through. I couldn't obviously watch the whole thing from beginning to end again, but he stabs him for about 2 minutes. If you imagine 2 minutes, he practically decapitates him. It then cuts to Junlin's head. He's on the floor. He cuts off his arms and his legs. He proceeds to I don't know what word I would use. It's necrophilic in nature. Now, he has got his clothes on, so it is questionable whether he's doing what he's acting like he's doing, but he's doing it just to a torso. But what he does actually do is defile the body with a bottle. In the video, there's a puppy who is being given flesh from the body. And oh my God. It's just, that's it. It's just horrific. I'm sorry. I'm not doing a very good job of this video, am I? I'm really not. I'm really not. I don't know how to do this in a professional way. How do you explain this in a professional way? What happened to this poor man who just wanted to make friends with somebody? How do I explain this to you? What was on this video? So when the video was uploaded, obviously, uproar right there. The internet group were sent their own private copies of this by Luka. So they woke up in the middle of the night to this video, knowing full well it's him. They send it straight to the authorities, straight away, straight over. But the next day, so it'd be the 25th of May, a janitor outside the apartment building notices some rubbish bags. He also notices a suitcase. He doesn't really investigate it at first. But what he does notice, I mean, this is, you see on the show, it's at the back of like an apartment building. It's quite a built up area. And it's at the back, like the rubbish chute and all of that kind of section. You see the amount of black bags that are there. You see the suitcase. But what he notices, the suitcase was locked, and he was like, someone's throwing this out, why is it locked? So he proceeds to open it, and in there is a torso, Junlin's torso, which of course the authorities don't know who it is yet, but so the janitor phones the police straight away. You know, they come round, they put and they put the tent up at the back of the apartment building so they can start looking into things. And one of the detectives notices that some of the rubbish bags, there's like a red liquid underneath. They start investigating. Obviously, there's blood there. They find, do you remember the puppy I mentioned to you? They find that puppy. He'd also killed the puppy, basically. They find a yellow T-shirt that Junlin had been wearing. They find the blanket he'd been lying on. I mean, all I can think is Luka. He's got to have wanted to be caught. He couldn't think he would have got away with it. But if he was going down, he was going to go down in spectacular fashion. That's all I can think of, because then on the 11 a.m. on May the 29th, 2012, so 4 days after, a left foot, which we know to be Junlin's, was delivered to the Conservative Party of Canada. He delivered Junlin's left hand, obviously not personally, posted, to the Liberal Party of Canada. He basically was sending Junlin's body parts all around Canada. Now, Junlin's flatmates, housemates, had obviously noticed he wasn't missing. He wasn't turning up for classes. So they'd reported him missing on the 29th of May. So like 5 days after it had happened, 4 days after this had been uploaded, he'd been reported missing. Now, in the bags that I mentioned to you, the black bags, it's just the stupidity for me. In there was ID and letters in the name of Luka Rocco Magnotta in the rubbish by the suitcase with Junlin's torso was torn up documents of Luka's with the address on of the apartment. But at that moment, the authorities thought that was the victim. Because don't forget, all they've got is a torso at the moment. So when they saw all these ripped up documents, they put 2 and 2 together and got 5, thinking that was the victim. So when they went up to the apartment, they knew that that was Luka Rocco Magnotta. Not that they knew who Luka was at the time, but they knew that that was the apartment. But they presumed that was the victim as well. And you see the body cam footage of them walking through the apartment. But there's nothing in there. It's empty. There's droplets of blood around that we discover afterwards. But for the most part, it's empty. There's nothing to be seen in there. When the body parts are being found around Canada, obviously a DNA check's been done, and the DNA matches, and they find out it's Junlin, who obviously they were looking as a missing person. Junlin's head, final body part, was found on July the 1st, 2012. So, a week later. No, God, no. It was 6 weeks later, wasn't it? They find his head. But in the meantime, while that was going on, Luka, an arrest warrant had actually been issued for him because they'd found although they hadn't found his head, they'd found the other body parts that had been sent to Conservative Party and the Liberal Party. So they'd managed to piece together that Luka must be the perpetrator to the authorities, and then eventually they start opening the emails they've been getting from these internet sleuths who've been telling them for the best part of 2 years, this guy, it's going to get bad. Anyone who can do that and record themselves with these kittens, it's going to get worse. They weren't listened to. So an arrest warrant was issued for Luka, but he'd gone missing. He'd gone on the run. And when they're looking into his internet profiles, like I say, he's got hundreds of them. And when they were looking at the photos he'd been taking in the past, looking like he was living this jet-set lifestyle, they were all photoshopped. He was robbing other people's photos. So this guy was just getting harder and harder to find. But eventually, on June the 4th, well, I say eventually, it was actually quite quick, wasn't it? On June the 4th, 2012, so 2 weeks later, he was actually apprehended in Germany, in Berlin. So he'd escaped. Apparently, he'd gone to Paris first, on to Berlin in Germany. And he was found in an internet cafe, and do you know what he was doing? He was looking at videos of himself and looking at internet searches of himself to see what was going on. I mean, if narcissism was a person. Now, Junlin's family, they arrived in Canada, and a candlelight vigil was held in Montreal for him. I mean, his poor family. And the worst thing is, that video is still out there. I've seen it. It's still out there. He was cremated on July the 11th, and his ashes were buried on July the 26th, 2012 at Notre Dame Denage Cemetery in Montreal. The BestScore.com owner was charged with corrupting public morals, like I say. Nothing happened because the video is still there. Now, Luka, he was extradited back to Canada on June the 18th, 2012. But he had the gall to plead not guilty, but we know why. He wants to drag this out as long as possible. He doesn't care about the family and what they're going to have to go through with him going to trial. He wanted a full trial with judge and jury, so it could all be out there for everyone. It's the only reason. He was banged to rights. They knew it was him. Sorry, what I missed. There's actually CCTV footage, again, you can see online, of him walking in with Junlin. And then, a few hours later, early hours of the morning, you see him wearing Junlin's, remember the yellow T-shirt? Wearing that, going down to where you put all your rubbish, and just making trips with the clothes and the quilts and Junlin's torso. All on CCTV footage. Like, and checking himself, checking his reflection every now and again. Literally minutes and an hour after murdering and dismembering and stabbing and beheading this poor innocent man for nothing. No, he pled not guilty, claiming diminished responsibility due to his mental disorders. Now, like I say, he had been diagnosed with schizophrenia. There was many professionals for both the Crown and his defence who were saying he's not right. Luka was claiming it was his alter person who was making him do it, who was the voice in his head called Manny, who was telling him what to do. The professional involved, who spent a lot of time with Luka, fully believes that Luka has got serious mental disorders, that he wasn't in control that day. It wasn't him, basically. The jury having none of it. And after a 12-week trial started about September-October 2014, and on December 23rd, 2014, he was found guilty of murder and dismemberment. They threw the book at him. And he was sentenced to mandatory 25 years before he could even be looked at for parole, plus 19 years for other charges. Don't think anything's obviously to do with the kittens. I think it was him, the dismemberment, sending the body parts to members of the government, and so 19 years. But concurrently, annoys me when things are concurrent. It really does. How can you serve at the same time? Do it all in one. If you're going to do a separate thing, then it has to be consecutive, as far as I'm concerned, one after the other, not at the same time. I don't like that. He did put an appeal in, the audacity. An appeal was filed, but he withdrew it in February 2015. And that is the disgusting, despicable Luka Rocco Magnotta. Wow. For the description of this story, I think this is probably one of my hardest. I think it is. I've done so many stories, and each one I always say, it's so hard, and I get this stomach drop, and the stomach drop in this was realising that what I'd watched was real. I think over the years, due to social media and the internet and everything else, I think we all become a bit desensitised, whether you're into true crime or not. But I think everyone's desensitised. I think we convince ourselves sometimes that things we're watching aren't real. And 9 times out of 10, they're not. 9 times out of 10, you've got someone with a string somewhere, and the ghost stories, and it's like, oh my God, that door closed, and it's like 1 million views later. You know, really, 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 you believe, you're watching that and you believe that that's happening. So to realise this was real, oh, it's just the worst feeling. So my advice is, I think I've told you everything that's within the video. I would definitely not recommend watching it. Not recommend trying to find it. Let it go. But which is what I should have done. But thank you for joining me. Bit of a long one today. But it's just so brutal, and that poor lad who gets lost in the whole thing, Junlin. Even in the program I watched, obviously he's spoken about and stuff, but it's all about Luka, and that's what he wanted. He wanted notoriety. He wanted infamy. That's why he tried to align himself with Karla Homolka, because Karla Homolka and Paul Bernard are obviously the most hated couple in Canada, and he wanted to align himself with them. Who knows why? It was just the route he was going down. I think he literally would have done anything for fame. And when he couldn't get on reality shows, he couldn't become this overnight supermodel. Just when he tried all of those things, he's gone that route. Or maybe he'd have always gone that route. I mean, to escalate so quickly and so brutally to what he did, it's just, you think if the police had listened, because, it's an unwritten rule. If someone's, you hear about children, if they're, in their teenagers, if they're known to be really cruel to animals, you've got to watch them, because you don't know where that's going to go. And, serial killers that we know of, 9 times out of 10 have had a history of hurting animals or young children. And, the signs were there and they were just ignored. Ignored's a bit hard. I think, especially with the authorities, when you are investigating people murdered, raped and killed, when someone comes along and says there's a guy killing kittens, I think it'd be a case of we'll get to it when we can, and I suppose a lot of anger did go towards the authorities when it was found out that they were getting warned about this guy. But at the same time, no one could have known that was going to happen. There was a good guess, but you couldn't have known. They couldn't even find where he was. And it was the internet sleuths that actually found where he was, and it was so clever how they did it. They actually seen a photo of him, realised what country he was in, and then just with Google, the Google Maps, and just started going street by street by street to recognise these particular stairs that he was sat on, which eventually they found and pinpointed it down to an area and sent that information to the authorities. I mean, it wasn't through want of trying that this wasn't stopped before it happened. It really wasn't. But, yeah, that's the horrible story of Luka Magnotta. Oh, God. Oh, I just feel really, ugh. I don't know. Is that a feeling? But that's how I feel after this story. It's just like ugh. Just awful. But I hope you all have a nice day after this very cheery story for you. Thank you so much for joining me again. I'm sorry there's been a bit of a break, but it's just, everything's just going crazy at the minute. It really is. And just trying to juggle things at the minute. So I'm so sorry I've been away for a while. And thank you for new subscribers. Please drop any comments in. Let me know how it's going on your side of the world. And, how much is your petrol at the minute and diesel? Just out of curiosity. because it's crazy here. And yeah, I hope you're all okay, and I'll be back very soon. Thank you so much for joining me again. Take care.